Imagine this: a 16-year-old boy from a tiny village in Gujarat. His father is a schoolteacher. There is no money, no connections, no powerful family name. This boy packs a bag, crosses the sea, and takes a job pumping petrol at a Shell fuel station in Yemen. He earns 300 rupees a month. He counts fuel cans. He watches ships come in and out of the port. And while everyone else sees a petrol pump, this boy sees a business education. Fast forward 30 years, that same boy is running India's largest private company. He is worth billions. He has been called the Rockefeller of India, and the stock market trades his company's shares by shouting just one word: Dhirubhai. This is the story of Dhirubhai Ambani. The man who did not just build a company, he built modern India. Dhirubhai Ambani was born on the 28th of December 1932 in Chorwad, a small coastal village in Gujarat. His father was a schoolteacher. Money was always short. Young Dhirubhai helped the family by selling snacks at local fairs as a child. But in his mind, he was already dreaming bigger than any fair in Gujarat could contain. At 16, in 1949, he did something bold. He left India entirely. He followed his elder brother to Aden, the port city of Yemen, where he took a job with Shell's trading agents. His salary was 300 rupees a month, roughly equal to almost nothing. But Aden in those years was alive with trade. Ships from all over the world docked there. Goods moved. Currencies fluctuated. Deals were made on the docks every single day. And Dhirubhai watched all of it. He watched and he learned. He studied how large trading houses operated. He understood how arbitrage worked, how the same thing can be worth different amounts in different places. He discovered that the Yemeni rial contained more silver than its face value suggested in certain market conditions. So he did what any genius would do. He bought rials, melted them, and sold the silver for a profit. Completely legal. Pure market intelligence. Pure hustle. This was not a petrol pump attendant. This was an entrepreneur, waiting for the right moment. He spent 8 years in Aden. 8 years of learning, watching, and waiting. And in 1958, at the age of 26, Dhirubhai Ambani came home to India with one goal and 500 rupees. 500 rupees. That is all he had. And with that, he was going to take on the entire Indian business establishment. He rented a tiny 350-square-foot office on Narsinathan Street in Bombay. 1 room, 1 table, 1 telephone, 2 assistants. That was Reliance Commercial Corporation, not Reliance Industries, not a trillion-dollar empire, just a man, a room, a phone, and 500 rupees. He started by importing polyester yarn and exporting spices to the Middle East. He knew those trade routes. He had lived them in Yemen. And he knew something the rest of India's business world had not figured out yet, that polyester was coming, that India's textile mills would need it, and that whoever controlled the supply would have all the power. But here is where it gets interesting, because Dhirubhai was not just a trader, he was a system thinker. He looked at a problem and saw 10 moves ahead. Banks would not lend to a man with no rich background. Fine, he would find another way to raise money. The government controlled everything through what was called the license Raj, a suffocating system of permits and red tape that strangled most businesses. Fine, he would navigate it better than anyone. Competitors tried to block him. Fine, he would outmaneuver them in ways they had never seen before. In 1966, he set up his first textile mill in Naroda, near Ahmedabad. And he did something no textile businessman had done before. He did not just make fabric. He built a brand. He called it Vimal, named after his nephew, and then he marketed it in a way that changed Indian advertising forever. Only Vimal. Those 2 words went everywhere, into the interior of India, into small towns and village markets where people had never seen a branded textile before. Suddenly, Polyester was not just a material. It was aspirational. It was modern. It was something you wanted. Vimal showrooms opened in every major city. The World Bank visited his factory in 1975 and certified it as excellent by developed country standards. A petrol pump attendant had built a World Bank certified factory in under 20 years. And then came 1977. The move that changed everything. The move that changed India. Dhirubhai decided to take Reliance public. Now understand the context. In 1977, the Indian stock market was the playground of the elite. Ordinary Indians, shopkeepers, teachers, farmers, small business owners, they did not invest in stocks. That was for rich people. That was complicated. That was not for them. Dhirubhai looked at that situation and saw the opportunity of a lifetime. He went to small towns across India. He held road shows. He explained, in simple language, what a share was, what a dividend was, what it meant to own a piece of a company. He told people, you trust Vimal with your clothes, now trust Reliance with your savings. And they did. 58,000 investors from across India subscribed to Reliance's first public offering. The issue was oversubscribed 7 times. Ordinary people, many of them first-time investors, put their savings into Dhirubhai's dream. And he kept his promise. He delivered dividends. He delivered bonuses. He delivered returns. People who had invested their life savings in Reliance became wealthy. Not rich. Wealthy. For the first time in India's history, the stock market had made millionaires out of ordinary middle-class families. By the 1980s, Reliance had so many shareholders that they could not hold their annual general meeting in a normal venue. They booked a football stadium. 12,000 shareholders attended. The Financial Times covered it as the world's largest company AIM. In the Bombay Stock Exchange, traders would shout company names to buy and sell. And when someone wanted to buy 50,000 shares of Reliance, they would shout, 50,000 Dhirubhai lao. Bring me 50,000 Dhirubhais. The man had become the share. The share had become the man. That is how deep into India's financial consciousness Dhirubhai Ambani had penetrated. But Dhirubhai's ambitions were never done. He was always looking for the next move. In the 1980s, he went backwards. Instead of just buying raw materials to make fabric, he built factories to produce those raw materials himself. A polyester plant in Patalganga. A petrochemical complex in Hazira. He was building a fully integrated empire, from raw chemistry to finished product, in a country where most businesses were still just traders. In 1982, a group of powerful Calcutta-based stockbrokers decided they had had enough of this upstart from Gujarat. They called themselves the Bear Cartel. They started aggressively short, selling Reliance shares, trying to drive down the price and destroy the company's standing in the market. This was an attack. A coordinated, deliberate attack on everything Dhirubhai had built. His response was extraordinary. He bought. He kept buying. He demanded physical delivery of every share sold to him, a technical move that meant the cartel had to actually produce shares they had borrowed and sold, which they could not do. The cartel started to panic. They scrambled to buy back shares at rising prices. The Bombay Stock Exchange had to be shut down for 3 consecutive days, the first time in its 100-year history that had ever happened. When it reopened, Dhirubhai was still standing. The Bear Cartel was finished. He did not just win. He made an example of anyone who ever thought about coming for him again. By the time Dhirubhai suffered his first stroke in 1986, Reliance was already India's most powerful private company. He handed day-to-day operations to his sons, Mukesh and Anil. But he kept his vision alive. In the 1990s, he moved into petrochemicals, oil refining, and telecommunications. He began planning a refinery at Jamnagar in Gujarat that would become the largest grassroots refinery in the world. He saw that mobile phones were coming. He saw that India would need telecom infrastructure on a scale nobody had imagined. He planted those seeds. His son Mukesh would later water them with Jio, which within 170 days of launch had crossed 100 million subscribers and essentially gave every Indian free data, destroying existing telecom players overnight. In 2002, Dhirubhai Ambani was ranked by Forbes as the world's 138th richest person, with a net worth of around $2.9 billion. On the 6th of July 2002, he passed away following a second stroke. He was 69 years old. India mourned him like a national hero, because that is exactly what he was. Today, the empire he started with 500 rupees and one telephone is worth over 20 trillion rupees. Reliance Industries is India's largest company. It operates in oil, gas, retail, telecom, media, fashion, and green energy. Mukesh Ambani is one of the richest men on earth. His daughter runs the retail business. His son runs Jio. His youngest is building the green energy future. And it all started with a boy from a village in Gujarat who pumped petrol in Yemen and decided that was not going to be his whole story. So what do we learn from Dhirubhai? Number 1. Information is power. Dhirubhai learned global trade at a petrol pump in Yemen. He paid attention when others just worked. Number 2. When the system is rigged against you, find a different door. Banks would not lend to him, so he went directly to the people. He invented India's equity culture from nothing. Number 3. Build systems, not just businesses. He did not just trade fabric. He built mills. He did not just buy chemicals. He built petrochemical plants. He was always moving backwards, controlling more of the supply chain, eliminating dependence on others. Number 4. Make your customers your partners. When you invite people to own a piece of your dream, they fight for it alongside you. If this story gave you goosebumps, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel for more stories like this every single week. And drop in the comments, which Indian or global empire do you want me to cover next? I will see you in the next one.